alive.
He's
but
not dead?
unconscious.
Oh, can I, so he's at a disadvantage, basically?
He is incapacitated.
So can I go up to him and slit his throat with my Mace of Disruption?
You
To make sure he's dead?
if you'd like to.
Yes, I want to.
Okay.
That's really bad. Is that really bad, though?
Pike walks up and grabs the back of the
wait,
Duregar's
maybe my
hair,
guys
pulls
are
it back,
fucking-
and using the jagged edge of her Mace of Disruption, tears open the throat of the Duregar, which then spills all
They're
of
bad
this
guys.
blackish ichor across the
She's
ground.
going renegade, folks. She's going renegade.
Walk on over to Kima. Touch her. Cast Greater Restoration again.
Okay.
Where do you touch from?
I touch her.
Slowly.
I touch her arm.
Okay.
Gently. Don't shoot him.
Classy.
Cut it
Holy
out.
symbol
It's not-
of
it's now a stone.
Sarenrae
Pretty good.
has a hairline fracture in it.
What?
What was once a perfect and impeccable
She's pissed off her
figure
god.
of design. You've had this your entire life. You look down and see, you don't know how recently, but a portion of the metal symbol itself is cracked.
Oh.
Come on, Matt. Can't you remember where 10 people are at once?
11 technically. Well,
I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna put my hands on him and try to cast Revivify.
okay. All right. So as you reach over, you grab your holy symbol, which looking down at it, you could see the that crack is still ominously in the symbol. But you reach down, you pray to
But
Sarenrae
he
to
put it in
aid
the
you.
mending wheel.
Huh?
He put it in the mending wheel.
No, remember it didn't work.
It didn't work?
Do it.
Okay, never mind.
You reach out and touch Grog, and his cold, still body. You feel the divine energy begin to instill his form. I need you to go ahead and make a wisdom check.
And I have gnome cunning, so I get advantage on wisdom checks.
Yes, you do. Which one? From the gnome's cunning?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
So what do I add?
For her racial background, she can choose it. She's a deep gnome.
She's such a racist.
16.
16? Get that ability real fast.
It's something.
Gotta kill the whole living Grog,
You're a deep gnome, correct? A rock gnome?
What eye is a bad eye of his?
Okay, the gnome cunning is you have advantage on all saving throws against magic. It's not against
Okay,
attack.
so that's not a thing.
Right.
Oh, it was okay. The first one was it would
The
still
first
be.
one was 16.
Yeah.
Okay.
16? Okay. As you put your hands in, you feel this surge of warmth, and some of the coldness in the air is pulled back in as Grog's chest rises up with breath once again. Grog, the darkness fades and your eyes come clear. You're looking up on your back into the room. You're at 1 hit point, I'm pretty sure.
The past couple days, I think I've spent in the temple trying to sort of reconnect and really just
Apologize?
tune in and apologize and
Sounds like a day's
confess. Oh, that's
Okay,
good.
now it does. And you return to this temple, the same temple where you yourself were resurrected after
Yes.
falling to the treachery demon not but 8 months previous. Returning to that place, especially after your recent journey and near brushes to death again, is a very solemn experience, and there's a part of you that just feels internally cold, both returning there and because of your strangely fractured connection with Sarenrae since you delved into the Underdark and kind of tapped into your darker side since traveling abroad on the ship. You take approximately 6 hours out of each day to just go in silent prayer and reach out to her. I will say, go ahead and make a wisdom check.
Okay. 22.
At the end of your second 6-hour period of intense communion with Sarenrae, sweat pouring down your body. The room itself is pretty cold, but for some reason your body is just growing more and more intense with heat. You feel yourself internalizing all of the steps and missteps that you've gone through over these past 6-7 months, trying to find your path, rediscovering yourself and what you have to prevent yourself or any of your friends from following the fate that you once did, and explaining to her that your love never left, and that this was all with the ultimate purpose of achieving her ultimate purpose as her instrument, and you wish not to cross that again, and if there's any way to redeem yourself, to let it be known to you. At the end of that period of time, you feel, since you lost that connection with Underdark, that thread reconnect. The warmth fills you, and the sweat stops as your entire body seems to be humming with energy. And for a brief second in your face, in your eyes, in your vision, you can see the beautiful gold gleaming, fire-wreathed head of Sarenrae smiling at you. And she reaches down and touches the side of your cheek and says, "Be forthright, be grand, burn bright and beautiful, and I shall always be at your side." With that, she releases your cheek and vanishes. The vision gone in the temple, and you can see about 2 other clerics that were in their silent muttering prayer have gone quiet, and they're both staring at you with a look of like, what just happened? You look down at your holy symbol, and that one giant fissure that had cracked has resealed itself. It takes... Look at the casting time on the spell.
Oh no.
God dang it.
24
Scratch
hours.
that. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do.
24 hours?
24 hours, but you
Dang.
Hallow works, you take 24 hours, and that land that you do that is like that until someone dispels it.
Oh wow.
Should have done it when we first got on the ship.
It's like with
Okay,
the line,
so
you get
then-
protection.
That's cool.
If that's good to know.
Yes,
Would have
but
been cool.
instead,
I'm gonna guiding bolt this guy right here.
The
This guy right
closest
here?
one to you?
Oh wait, no, the flying guy right here.
oh, that one?
Yeah.
Okay. You currently can't see him, unfortunately. That is
Yeah.
down below the ship because it swooped down to pick up the guy who had fallen.
right.
So he is currently out of your view.
Cool. I'll guiding bolt the I can't do that griffin up there, can I? Guiding
What's the
bolt
range on
griffin?
guiding bolt? You might be able to.
120 feet?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that.
All right. So go ahead and make your ranged spell attack. So roll d20, add that bonus.
Oh man,
you
that's
got?
a 1.
Oh.
All right.
All right.
So in your confusion, you reach back to shoot the wyvern that's on the other side of the ship. It's not there, and so while the spell is releasing itself, you're like, crap, that one! And by the time you turn around to redirect the divine energy blast, it just arcs off in a random direction.
What a fail of a motherfucking turn.
I know where you came from, but would you stay with us for a bit and help us rebuild? Bring her name into the light amongst the others here in Vaseline. Restore it to its glory.
Yes. Oh man, I don't want to leave you guys.
Oh no, because it shouldn't take long, especially with your help. And we can bring the light into the heart of others, and you can see the 2 other kind of joined her at the side, and they all look at you with this look of hope that you can probably tell from the crinkles in their face that they haven't had in quite some time. And they look up to you in their simple clothes as the first true, strong bastion in this city for Sarenrae they've seen in a long time. With that, Pike, you get to turn to the rest of the group.
Well, I think this is a pilgrimage I have to take. So, Vox Machina, keep your eyes out. I will contact you every once in a while if I can, and we will meet up once this is completed.
Inevitably.
All in. Vox Machina on 3. 1, 2, 3.
God, time is.
Is there a tavern anywhere?
Merton walks over, kind of opens up and goes, all right, not that problem. Opens the door. Peeking from around the doorway, you see meekly a familiar female form. Short, white hair, gently silver and blue armor, small in stature. There stands a meek and smiling Pike.
Hello.
How did you do that? Your ways are mysterious,
How have you
DM.
been? Tell us everything. Oh my god, I think we've only been away for like a week, but it feels like a year.
Oh, you know, here we are.
Can.
Whoa.
And so can she.
Ooh.
As he looks over his shoulder, you can see the villagers are parting, and there is running behind them this form of a small humanoid armored entity. but glowing. Her actual form is comprised of glowing radiant energy, like an actual avatar of Sarenrae in the form of a tiny gnome cleric who's charging through the rain. Each droplet of rain that hits her body just immediately evaporates on impact, and she comes charging towards you guys.
I'm reaching down to help her up on the top of the wall.
Okay.
Oh my god. Keela thinks she died. Keela thinks she's dead.
Okay. As
I'm
you guys
grabbing
see,
Percy's arm and lowering him down lower because she's short.
all right. As you guys reach Shining, she runs up. Keeper Yenin reaches up and grabs on the arm as well. As she gets up, and the two of them together lift up on top. And as you grab her arm, it's strange. It's warm to the touch, warmer than a natural arm, and it doesn't have full physical essence to it. It's almost like she's partially an apparition of her physical self. There is purchase. There is an actual form to it, but it doesn't feel fully solid.
She's lost weight.
You look so thin. All right.
With that, you lift her up, and she's lighter than you recall, and almost like a gentle feather of herself, she lands on her toes on the top of the wall.
She was light already.
I know.
Pike!
Even in full armor.
Hi! Pike, did we die?
No, you're still alive,
How did you get here? What are you doing here? How did you get here?
Oh gosh, it's a long story. I don't know if we can talk about it right now. Do we need to fight anything right now?
Yes.
Lots of skeletons.
Yeah. And you look down before you, and there is a horde of skeletons that are right now about to crush the wall. You see two right now that are lashing out. One reaches for your leg.
I'm taking a shot.
Okay, above you, a little bit of the clouded night sky. So Pike, are you going to use your action to destroy undead?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Come on, Pike.
Oh my gosh.
What's your spell DC? Put in your spell page.
It is 16.
16? Good to know. It's wisdom. They're -1 wisdom.
There's like 80 skeletons he has to roll for,
Yeah,
so
he's rolling a gajillion times, Ashley.
Roll.
it's a little expensive.
These are general
I just keep hearing a thud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like a knife through butter.
I can't believe he's rolling this many times.
I know.
Okay.
No way.
So, as you see all the skeletons begin to reach for you and their blades come pulling down towards your armor, you curl into a ball, clutch your holy symbol of Sarenrae, and through the connection that has allowed you to be here in this moment, you feel this welling up radiant energy just burst out from you in this shock wave of glowing radiant force just blast outward. For that entire blast wave radius, which would be the entirety of this road leading back for about 60 feet, you end up turning to ash roughly 36 of these skeletons.
Whoa! What?
25 hit points or fewer after taking this damage. It has to make a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw, which it fails.
Which means?
So as you rush up on the side of it, your sprinter's boots carrying you, this blur of divine gnomish energy, you see through her somewhat shimmering radiant form, the hair itself glistens against the rain. It almost doesn't even touch. Somehow immaculate in the middle of combat. You find it slow motion in your head, and for that brief moment, you remember how much it hurt to see her go and how happy you are to have her here. However, you, in the middle of your battle trance, Pike, rush up, shield ahead. You take the mace, and seeing the open wound, slam the mace in there once. Wham! As you hit, the actual undead flesh burns away from the impact, leaving this kind of ashy swath of missing flesh in its body. A creature gives out this weird gurgly bellow as its missing jaw goes. Using that moment as it rears back, how do you want to do this?
She's gone. She ran away. She took her headphones off and did a lap.
17? Okay. You take a moment to inspect Percy, looking at his features, kind of checking his pulse, and generally just getting a sense of his life force in general. His eyes are sunken, his jowls are shadowed, From what you recall of Percy, who was always, a seemingly healthy, if on the thin, pale side, individual, doubly more so than you've ever seen him. There is an unrest to his energy, and there is no physical, natural illness or discernible disease, but there is something unsettling about his presence that you never sensed before.
Okay. I mean, is something like lesser restoration? Would that do anything in this
What about
situation,
greater
or-
restoration?
Try lesser or greater restoration. Might be functional
You
things.
have a
Up
greater
to you.
restoration, Pike. I don't have it on me.
Okay. I can try it. Can I try it?
Yeah, if you want to.
Okay.
So what are you casting? Lesser or greater restoration?
I'll do greater. Do you
Okay.
mind, Percy? Or
No.
is this...
No.
Okay, so as Pike reaches up, you kind of grab his face again and you close your eyes and concentrate. Her hands begin to glow with an extremely bright vibrance, even more so than her kind of gently luminescent form right now. It's almost like there's a blowtorch of radiant energy right around his jaw. The rest of her form almost seems to put so much energy into it that her legs begin to dissipate and vanish, almost like she's putting all of her energy into this moment. The rest of her body kind of fading in towards the grasp. You feel this warmth kind of wash through your entire body, and for a brief moment, for the first time in a number of weeks, there's a moment of serenity to you. Your eyes instinctually close, and for a second, you feel like you're standing next to Pike in a void of darkness. As that warmth hits Pike, you sense something there. You sense a seed of darkness. There's something in him that you can almost reach out and grasp. And in that imaginative space, you thrust your hand out and grab onto it, and it's taut and it's fighting, but you pull and wrest it forth, and as you do, you feel it burn and dissipate. At which point, both of you guys open your eyes and kind of breathe in succession with each other. The energy fades from your hands, and your form goes back to its full radiant physicality. You can remove a corruption point from yourself.
Yay!
A corruption point?
Yes.
To a quiet spot in the temple and start saying a prayer.
Okay.
And I'd like to cast Planar Ally.
Okay.
Which you besiege an otherworldly entity for aid. So I would like to call on Sarenrae.
All right, let me pull this up here. What level is this?
It's a 6th level.
All right.
So,
Let's see here.
you have to ask the creature to perform a service in exchange for payment.
Mm-hmm.
But
So yeah, what would you like to do?
well, I think I just I don't know. I think if I say, Sarenrae, I've been rebuilding your temple for months. So please help us in battle and help us rebuild our city. If that's service enough.
Okay. As you reach out, you feel Sarenrae's warmth come to you, wordless, attempting to comfort, but even then there is a trepidation in Sarenrae, who is, you gather, herself still kind of taking in these circumstances that have happened. You feel that warmth begin to coalesce into a specific form, and everyone who has come into the temple with you kind of gasps aloud as over the central worship platform in the center of the temple, a glowing orb begins to form that then slowly takes the form of a humanoid with wings similar to the ones that you wore in your celestial form. As the light fades, you can see, just levitating roughly a foot off the ground, a human, white eyes, pale blue skin, hairless, with a simple breastplate that's silver with gold lining on it, a single sword sheathed at the side, and a beautiful pair of white angel wings sprouting from its back as the entity stands there, looks down towards you. I have been sent to your aid. Are you Pike Trickfoot? to give me a task. The voice itself seems otherworldly. And understanding the basis of this spell, you need a specific task in mind for it, and it is expensive to maintain in materials the longer the task requires.
Okay. We need your help. As you can see, our city has fallen to pieces by these dragons that are attacking us. And we just ask that you aid us in battle somehow.
Lead me to a battle if you wish. I haven't much time on your plane. If you have a task I can complete at this moment. And you know, this, to maintain the spell, costs about 100 gold per minute.
Okay. Ah, shit. Okay.
Or 1,000 gold an hour, depending on the, or 10,000 gold per day.
Don't leave home without it. Just pay for it.
Dial 1-900
Depends,
Sarenrae.
yeah, depends on the task you require. It needs to be a little more specific than just aid us in battle if there isn't an immediate battle happening, because the longer it's out, the more expensive it'll be. You ask to rebuild, and it looks to you and says, if you require my aid in rebuilding, and she puts her head around the temple, this I can help with quite a bit of haste, as it is within the realm of our patron lady.
Okay. Well, yes, rebuild our keep.
It'll be done within the hour. And so you can mark off 1,000 gold worth of materials. And at this point, the Planar Ally's wings unfurl and begin to float up. And as it does, it lifts its hands, and all these shattered stained glass begins to kind of lift off the ground with it. And you watch as they all begin to reform.
It's pretty sick.
And begin to, through just pure divine energy, rebuild the entirety of the temple around within a matter of minutes. While everyone else is kind of looking in awe, and you can begin to see around you many people who had been shaken to the core of their being, who had lost all hope. Even just this visual representation of the power of Sarenrae and the faith that you put into her, you can see people are now bowing in deep prayer at the center of the temple as it's being rebuilt. This has been a very impactful moment for the survivors you've taken under your wing.
Yeah.
Okay, is that in your turn?
Can I try to intimidate him to tell him to drop his bow?
As a bonus action, I'll let you do that, sure.
All right. Drop your bow!
All right, go ahead and roll an intimidate check.
Which I don't think I have any of that. Let me see. Oh, this is going to be hilarious. 11.
11. As you shout, the individual kind of gives you a keen look and almost chuckles to himself, going, silly gnome.
It was a joke.
Puts the crossbow up, aiming it right towards the between the eyes.
Oh no.
I could cast Speak with Dead and we could ask him
Ooh.
If he gave
some
us up or not.
questions.
We could.
We could
That's a
ask
good
him
idea.
up to 5 questions.
Let's do it.
Do it.
All right.
So you guys quietly press down a small area of the grass to give you enough of a space for you to go ahead and perform this ritual. As you lay the body down, you look up to the sky, and where some of the cloud cover that is kind of slowly drawn over the area, there's a little gap in the clouds. As you look up to the now visible stars, you whisper Sarenrae's name, look down at the body, touch it with your hand, and the still corpse, the chest begins to rise and fall with a unnatural breath for the time being. The eyes begin to twitch and move around. No physical movement beyond that, but the mouth slowly draws open, and you hear, while the lips do not move, you hear a voice emanate through like an exhale. You returned.
I don't answer. No, I'm just kidding.
I can still get in.
Hi, Scanlan.
Hello. Just did you get your robe and everything and your slippers?
Yes, slippers, everything.
The monogram.
Yes.
Spelled it right.
Thank you so much.
And the scented candles.
Yes, it smells so good in here.
Thank
you.
Great. If you need anything, there's a little bell. There's 2 bells next to your bed. There's one to call servants, and there's one for me.
Oh, thank
The
you,
purple one
Scanlan.
is mine.
Percy and I strategize.
We're doing strategies.
Right. Listen, there's been a lot of death recently. And, well, just, I might die and stuff, so, just don't read this until I do.
Can I read it?
Don't.
What is this?
Pass it over.
You're like,
It smells funny.
Do you want to go steady? If yes, check this box.
Do not open, and in parentheses, till I'm dead.
That's all.
Hopefully I never have to open this.
I hope so too. That's all. Have a good night.
Bye, Scanlan.
Bye.
I close the door, I open it, and I read it.
Guys, take this time. This is a short rest for those of you who aren't part of this ritual. You complete the ritual. Go ahead and make a religion check.
You already boxed up your stuff.
She was like, I'm done. I'm out. Peace.
20?
D20 and add your religion.
That's good.
24.
Okay. Vax, you said you wanted to help. What do you want to help with the ritual on?
Oh,
no, I said I wanted to.
Oh, sorry.
she was assisting. I was helping with the money.
Right. Sorry. Help with the money. How
How
are you aiding with the ritual?
What? How am I aiding with the ritual? What were you doing?
Well, she was casting. She was preparing the ritual and preparing the seals and taking out the components and praying to Sarenrae and speaking the rites, which kind of channel through her celestial language. Though she doesn't understand celestial, she speaks it through as part of the spell, almost like
I speak celestial.
I also speak.
I'm down.
No, I speak primordial.
Yeah.
I keep getting that confused.
How are you aiding in this?
Can I just use, like, place my hand on his chest and use my, like, kind of place the other, my other hand on the ground and try and use natural healing to assist?
Sure. Go ahead and make a straight wisdom roll.
Actually,
Natural 1?
Okay.
can I assist?
How would you like to assist?
I would like to come over and start listening to the chanting that she's doing in Celestial and harmonize and bring a voice to it, since I can't actually speak Celestial.
Huh. Roll a performance check.
That's lovely.
Harmonize.
21.
All right. As you finish the ritual, both the voices of Pike and Percy begin to harmonize across these various refrains in a language that in itself, when spoken, especially in this rhythmic, ritualistic way, it seems to almost create a third voice. And then you hear clearly there is a third voice harmonizing with them that you don't know where it's coming from.
It's me. I'm just like, oh,
You're scatting in the corner.
As the beautiful musical tones of the singing come to a close, your holy symbol, the glow fades, and a moment passes before you hear this soft
Oh, you want to be in this area?
Yeah.
No, you
No,
don't.
I don't. I will give you the head of Kepdag.
Oh my god! It took a look from Pike!
Oh, wow, it's a powerful look.
Lost in any way? I think if you felt in some way that this is who you've needed to follow, then follow her.
Well, the bottom line is I couldn't walk away if I wanted to because I know that I would lose my sister. But I don't want to anymore. We've all been close to death, all of us. And now I'm just a little bit closer. And it took me a bit, but maybe we are not meant to be happy. I don't know.
I don't think that's true.
Well, I don't know, but I know that I can be of use.
You can be. And you are of use. And I'm not the type of person that would ever say that you have to choose and follow who I follow. But I just will tell you now that if the Raven Queen fucks with you, or hurts you, or doesn't change you for the better, then she's going to have to deal with me, and we're going to have a problem. But as of right now, I love you, Vax. And it's going to be fine, and I am here for you no matter what, and you can talk to me anytime. And don't be ashamed or embarrassed.
I was. I'm doing better.
Okay. Don't be ashamed, and turn that frown upside down.
It would help if you stayed around.
I will do my best.
I know.
Because sometimes people call, and sometimes I just have to go to do work. But and maybe you'll discover that with the Raven Queen. Maybe she'll take you to jobs, and you just have to go.
Prime time.
But I adore you. Okay?
I was all kinds of fucked up a couple of weeks ago.
Well, you are all kinds of fucked up all the time, and that's why we're all kinds of fucked up, and that's why we all are together.
I walk by eating chicken and wearing no pants.
And I give him a slap on his bare ass as he walks by. You okay? You will be.
Ish.
Ish. That's all we can be is ish. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so it does save, so it takes half damage. Go ahead and roll 10d6.
Damn.
Damn. Okay, 6. 8. 9. 14. 18. 18. 19.
22.
22.
That's it.
No, I rolled 10.
Oh.
22. 28. 29.
We're watching the Olympics. 5 9s, 5 8, 6 1.
I don't even know what that means. Okay, so 45.
45 half, that's 22 points of fire and bludgeoning damage.
What did you
cast? How do you want to do this?
Oh, shit!
Oh my god! Are you serious?
Listen, before you do what you're going to do and we're going to go off on our way, I just wanted to say that I am here to officially absolve you of that proposal, and I rescind it. I was foolish to do so, and I don't want there to be any strings sort of attached when we leave, and I think really with you on the cusp of parting ways and me seeing my daughter and everything, everything's sort of come into a bit of a clearer focus, and I think I've always been in love with the idea of you. You know, you're so perfect and beautiful and smart and...
It was the hairy shoulders,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
But you know, I don't want to love an idea, I want to love a girl. So, and I think in all of this time pining after you, I forgot to just hang out with you and know you as a person, and I'm sorry for that. But,
It's okay, Scanlan.
so I'm sorry for objectifying you or whatever.
Hey, these things happen, and maybe it wasn't the best time, and maybe someday in the future we can just reconnoiter and just see if we want to just talk about it again, I
We'll
guess.
be friends.
We'll be friends.
We'll be friends.
It burns in her stomach, and she takes it.
What? Seriously? Pike, you're such a badass. Yeah.
Well, how do you feel, Pike?
I feel like it didn't taste any different than what I usually have.
What?
I just thought I had another one.
For another one.
All right, make another saving throw, Pike.
Oh shit.
Just cruising for a bruising.
So, Pike takes the second shot. slams the drink down on the table. You feel the numbness hit your lips, Pike, and you feel a little strange, a little sparkly and numb for a second, and your tongue isn't quite functioning as you would hope, as everyone's looking towards you. A second shot. That is obviously very brave of you, Pike.
Yes, he's got quite the tolerance.
What? I don't even know it is.
And with that, Pike face plants onto the ground and into the slow crawling sunrise that is, the sun hasn't quite crested, but you can see through the snowfall, which is lessening at the moment. The distant kind of light blue is getting lighter and lighter. You probably have another 30 minutes before the sun hits the actual horizon line. But as you step out of the one of the trees that you created previous when you were journeying to the ruins of Draconia, you do see about 150 feet off the shimmer of the outside of Scanlan's mansion's door.
Let's be
Oh, great. Pike's good at that quiet.
We stealth there.
We're gonna stealth.
Crunch.
Both you guys roll stealth checks.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
This is so great.
Come on,
now we can all die together.
Oh, I'm going to stay put in the
You
mansion.
have disadvantage, Pike.
I have a
Oh,
disadvantage.
that's a natural one.
Wait, what?
I don't think I can get worse than that. That is a 1.
Two natural ones?
What? Stealth.
No!
Oh my god, the dragon's going to fucking kill us right
Oh
now.
my god, Pike.
Oh my god.
The plan hasn't even started.
Our plan.
Dice jail, dice
We're all
jail.
about to lie down for a 3-hour nap? What are you talking about?
Off to a great start.
As the fiend over on the side, just swinging and barely missing a flying Vax, swoops past in the middle of the sleet storm. You close your eyes and concentrate, holding your holy symbol, praying that Sarenrae has the ability to reach beyond the divine gate and lend you her strength temporarily. I need you to go ahead and roll a d10.
Man, how awesome would this be?
It'd be
actually work.
insane.
So cool.
What'd you roll?
10?
A 0?
Yeah.
0.
A 0.
Oh.
Never works.
Shut the fuck up! She has to roll under her
You have to
level.
roll under your level.
Which she did.
So this succeeded. So,
Shut the fuck up, Ashley!
so as you clutch your holy symbol, concentrating, hoping that she's there, feeling the division between the gods and their followers since the divergence occurred, and you've reached out to her a number of times, you look up through the darkness of your closed eyes and you see a light, a beacon open, like the clouds part, and suddenly the sound of rain goes away, the sound of all the chaos goes away, and it's just warmth and quiet. And you watch as Sarenrae's hand comes down and touches your forehead, and with your closed eyes, and says, "I'll do what I can." As she drifts away and smiles, you watch as her hand turns into a fist, and she looks up and disappears into the light. As you open your eyes, you now see up in the sky cloud above Voragal, the clouds that are dark. There's a little sparkle of divine energy begins to swirl. As it grows stronger and stronger, the clouds suddenly part, and a giant column of divine energy slams down right on top of Voragal. Voragal looks up just in time to try and move out of the way before it slams him in the back. Does not make his dex save with a roll of 5.
Launch fries, motherfucker!
Voragal suffers.
You've done this 6 times?
Voragal suffers 50 points of divine damage
50 points.
and is slammed onto the ground.
Get over
Stay down.
Yes!
Ground so hard, Hex fell off of him.
I know.
Holy fuck! Pike!
Oh, nobody should.
All right. You guys
Got a
find your
basement
way.
with something wrong in it. There's something in the basement.
I have a quick request. Before I go to sleep, can I try and find Pike and see if she will teach me the alphabet before my fox's cunning wears off?
In one night.
Oh.
That's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Maybe you could learn a letter.
You go and find Pike in a room. She comes to the door, already groggy, no pun intended. Sorry about that. You open your door and you see Grog standing there looking a little sheepish.
Grog, what's wrong?
Yeah, look, I had trouble sleeping, and I actually know like giant, but I can't read it.
Okay.
Do you think maybe before this like fancy smart potion wears off, you could teach me some letters?
Well, if we have maybe a book or something, I could like a beginning to read giant. Is there anything like that where I could know?
Well, no, I don't.
What the letters
I
are?
don't see a lot of giant. Just even like common, like
Just common letters.
Yeah, just.
Yes, I can show you the alphabet. I will write it out. Okay. And do you know how to spell your name? Okay. It's very easy. You have 4 letters in your name.
How many?
But there are 2 of the same letter.
How
so
many?
You really only have 3 letters in your name.
But I'm not so hot on the numbers.
Okay, well, we won't talk about numbers. Okay, what's the first letter of the alphabet? This you know.
G.
That's the first letter of your name.
Oh, it is?
Yes,
It doesn't
but that's
stop
not
at
the
that?
first letter of the alphabet. You've said it before.
Hey.
It's the first letter. Oh, well, you wouldn't know that because you don't know how to spell.
Fucking A, this is tough.
Oh!
What?
You just said it.
Fucking A.
Yes.
A.
A is the first letter of the alphabet.
A. A. A.
Okay.
A.
And we can keep going.
I hit it twice with my axe, and with the third one, I pick up Pike, and I use it to slice the metal. Come on, Pikey Bill!
Wielding Pike like a two-handed gnome, after you drop the axe with the first 2 strikes, the creature kind of stepping backward. You jump up in the air and getting about neck height. You swing Pike with all your strength. Pike, you feel your jowls get pulled from the G-forces of the sheer strength of the arc. But what weapon do you have held out right now?
What's that?
What weapon are you using in the battle?
Oh, I'm using my Mace of Disruption.
So as the mace comes through, it slams into the side of the skull of the Ember Rock. As your hands go numb from the impact as the vibration shivers through your body, but you watch as the beak and the side of the skull just crack and cave inward with a little sound. It just falls over.
Oh. Yeah!
Yeah!
Pike is a
Grog, it felt like I did it.
You did do it! Monster, give me a growl.
Well, I reach in my pocket and I pull out a little doll. And Scanlan, I don't know if you remember this, but you gave this to me, and it's a little doll of you, which is very appropriate. But when I died, this saved my life because you gave it to me, and I didn't know that you would put healing words in it. And it saved me, and I hope that today I can return the favor. I'll place that next to him. I prepared a poem. I don't have it memorized, so hold on. Okay. Here lies Scanlan the Bard, a gnome who sang soft but died hard. To anyone who hears us, both far and wide, bring us back our dirty friend at least one more time. He may not be tall or brute or rough. He may be little, but his heart is buff. We are a party, and every party needs a clown. Without our friend to rein us in, we'll burn down your whole fucking town. You see, I love this gnome very much. He's small like me, but he's touched. He's raided and slain. He's pooped while he sang. But if he's gone forever, I won't be the same. now that he's learned he's a dad, the journey that all of us had cannot be in vain, will not be in waste. Please, Scanlan, open your eyes and see your daughter's face. Had him make you some, I don't know, maybe some flashcards. So, I take out a quill. I hold up a photo. Who is this?
What you see before you is a very beautifully, realistically drawn image of a female half-elven druid and a male half-elven rogue paladin, both clutching bed sheets going...
That's amazing. In the same drawing.
Yeah.
Oh. But how did... I mean, they would have had to have been...
I didn't realize he was going to draw them in their sleep. So let's just...
Please go through every picture.
So many more questions than answers. One of those two was dead yesterday, and yet they still found time to... Well, the one on the left is... I lovingly refer to her as Antlers. She is the most powerful and leader of the group.
All those things are true, but take this quilt. Now, next to her picture, please write Keyleth.
Dodie, you heard her.
No.
Nobody stops when she says no.
You are going to write it down. Do you know how to write?
Of course I know how to write.
Okay,
I'm an educated man.
Does he know how to write?
In what language?
What language do you prefer?
I prefer gnome when I'm with you.
Old
Okay.
habits die hard.
It's good practice.
Okay. So write down Keyleth.
Odd vowel sounds in your weird language. Okay. Keyleth.
The man laying next to her, do you know his name?
Little elf boy.
I would never say that again. His name is Vax.
With a B? Like Bax?
With a V, as in
Vagina.
Mana from heaven. Mana from heaven.
Got it? X. All right.
Next up.
You know what? That one sounds familiar. I feel like he's introduced himself to me.
Okay, next up, who's this?
This is another pair. This one, less shy. It appears to be a human male, looking confused, with glasses pressed up above the top of the forehead, and a half-elven, dark-haired female on top, glancing back with a "don't you fucking dare" expression.
Oh well.
Yes, I know, you're learning so much.
May I for a moment?
Sure.
Do you think this is up, or?
You could have it any way you like it.
I've read about that. All right.
Just looking at the faces, then, who do you think they are?
The happy one is little elf girl.
Oh, I would definitely not ever say that to her.
All right. What's her real name?
Her name is Vex.
All right. Vex.
And do you know that her and Vax are twin brother and sister?
I could tell by the bone structure and
Okay.
the contempt.
Now, the man laying next to her, what is his name?
Percival Frederickstein von Musel-Carollo DeRollo III.
Well done.
Almost. Kowalski DeRollo III. Percival Frederickstein von Musel.
Muslix.
So close.
You're good.
The Kowalski
DeRollo III.
That one is bullshit.
That all depends on how much whiskey. That's fair.
Please
That's a
write it down.
whiskey-based pronunciation.
That one I'm gonna do in common. And you know what? I'll just abbreviate the middle part.
That's okay.
P. DeRollo.
Right. 2 more to go. Who's this?
Okay. Let's see of the. All right, so there is one of this one is Pike, in a her gnomish form, still wearing her armor in her astral form, just kind of looking like she realized she didn't phrase it properly when she made the request, and being the last one sketched. And in that moment, her expression says, "Oh no."
Before I answer, just a quick process question here.
Okay.
In the other images, there was some revelry, some intercourse happening. Is that, now that I'm a full-fledged member, do I get to partake? Is this how it works with everyone, or is it just certain members? Is it a hierarchy? Is it some sort of a cultish thing where you have to prove yourself sexually and in battle, or how does that work? Or is it, am I misreading this?
You know, I think you should just continue to try to explore that. Because it would just be great just to see what happens. You never know, Terry. You just never know.
All right.
I would never tell you no. No! Not no! Let me rephrase. I would never tell you no to not try with the people of the group.
So you're saying that membership has its privileges?
Mayhaps. Oh my God. Do you know my name?
Daughter of Sarenrae, I'm guessing.
No, it's Pike.
Pike.
And last but certainly not least.
Whoa.
Oh.
Narrator.
Doty, she said realism. Really?
And there, in a classic Michelangelo-style pose, one knee cocked to the side, the beard fluffed, the rippling scarred muscles, and the obvious half-giant side of Grog Strongjaw before you on the page.
That is not a picture of a Goliath and a halfling.
I mean, how does he walk?
With confidence and pride.
Pick a leg.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
I know.
That is just, that is primal.
You took some artistic liberties with this one.
Made it smaller.
All right. I've been taking to calling him Jumbo, or the big guy,
Okay.
and it seems that I was correct.
Well, this is Grog.
Say that again.
Grog.
Grog. Okay.
And that is my very best friend.
You know, I have learned that he is a confident ally and a friend to me as well. and I will do my best to protect him in battle in your absence.
Well, thank you. That is very, very kind of you. So, before I leave, my request is that you look at these every night before bed until you learn them.
Love Mama Pike.
Can you, in this form, can you see me all the time?
Yes.
I will.
So I will know if you're not looking at your flashcards every night. This is so stupid.
This is Dungeons and Dragons.
This is amazing.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Milady, I swear it by my name. I will do so as you request. Thank you for saving one of my allies today, and wherever you are in the world, know that we are fighting a good fight, and I will keep your friends safe. Your friends, Greg,
Nope.
Vox, Kiko,
works.
and Percival, Frederickstein, von Musil,
Let it roll.
Kowalski Derola III.
Atmosphere of the tavern as people have been drinking heavily into the evening, like a city that is still recovering from 5 years of perpetual torment does.
But it's just like she's so pretty with like a feather in her hair.
She's like a bitch, but in like the coolest way.
And she's really good with money.
I know, and if she gives you the eyebrow, and then
I
you're
know,
like...
and then when she got the broom, but her hair.
I know, and her fur, and...
She's the best.
Oh, it's not fair, I tell you.
I know.
Good shit.
Do you know what I do every night?
What?
I sometimes put in my earring, and I have conversations with Scanlan. And I know we can't hear.
Well, who talks back?
Nobody.
Oh, that's awful!
I just tell him how the day was and what I did, and you know. But I don't. Obviously, he's not gonna talk back.
Oh god, he's gotten full shimp.
I've never tried that before.
You should try it. Sometimes I'll just see. You know, I know he can't hear.
Right.
Well.
What do you want to do?
Scanlan. I know you can't hear, but I'm sitting in a tavern right now with Grog. He just went to sleep. I had a pretty good day. I had to do a lot of labor, just like lifting stuff into a cart. And then Vox Machina, lo and behold, come home and I see him, and now we're here. But we miss you. I'm very tired.
Any mermaids?
There are no mermaids within this bay that you find. Sorry.
It's okay.
Next vacation.
Although I
Next
turn to
week.
Pike and Vax and I go, hey, underwater tea party.
I'm not doing that shit.
What do you want to do while you're out and about for the afternoon?
I want to get my hair braided with beads on the end.
Alrighty.
Hey, Grog. Just the beard.
Yep.
Choop, choop, choop.
All right. You guys ask around about a half an hour or so, and you're led to one location that it's windowless. It has a kind of open archway door with some fine purple and red silks kind of block the entry as you walk inside. There's one woman who's sitting there in the process eating a small bowl of fruit. You see she is a dark-skinned Marquesian, but elf lineage. She has elfin features. Her hair which is this like dirty brown, is braided in rows that just go down past her waist and have a series of multicolored, looks almost like gems and rings and other cool pieces of jewelry that are just woven into it. As she's kind of looking at the small book in her lap and eating the fruit, she turns around. Oh, I'm sorry. Hello.
Hi. Could we get our hair? Yours looks amazing. Could we get just some hair braids, you know, tight and then going down with like some gems and some sparkles in it, and same here on his beard?
Oh, the beard. I could do that.
Yeah?
Yes, of course. Closes her book, sets it down.
Yeah.
Come, sit. And she leads you over to an area, and
Just some razor blades up in the.
she calls out in Marquesian for a moment, and a younger woman, probably about 15 or so, comes out, human, dark-skinned as well, and they both begin to just start working on your hair and your beard, asking about where you're from. It becomes a conversational piece, because you're there for a good hour and a half or so to go through all of your hair and get it done. But nevertheless, you now have a fantastic series of braids in your hair, with various
she pulls
beads
really
and jewels.
hard.
It looks really good. Do you want to add any jewels in it?
Jewels?
And just like earrings and stuff like how she has?
No, I
Or
just
you
want,
wanna
I
just
just
braid?
want the beads. Little beads and little braids. No jewels.
Oh, come in.
What?
Okay.
Hey. So can I shut the door? So
Yes.
Okay. Shut the door. So I have a secret.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So when we beat Thordak, right?
Yeah.
I was like rummaging around, and like all of Amon's like treasures were in this one place, and everybody was like, "Man, we want to heal." And I found like these little gifts, and one of them was like this little itty bitty deck of cards. I know, right? Now here's the thing. It was in a really pretty box, like wooden box with gold all over it. And I tried to open it, wouldn't, so I smashed it.
Oh, naturally.
Like you do.
Yeah.
And I took it out, and I drew a card from it, and this magic sword appeared in my hand.
So something magic comes out of it when
Yeah.
you pick one? Can I pick one?
Yeah, do you want to?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I also like went and I was like journeying around. I went to Vasselheim. Now, here's the thing. Vex was like, "No, don't pick mine, it's dangerous." Right?
Wait, it can be dangerous?
Well, no, she's afraid that it's dangerous, right? Because like the sword, it like kind of turned to rust, and like I got a headache afterwards. Pfft, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think like I didn't handle it right. But I went to Vasselheim and I had this other guy pick a card, you know?
Okay.
And he picked a card. He got 2 wishes,
What?
just like that, and he made
Sounds
himself.
like the best thing ever.
I know. He's the lord of the crossroads.
The crossroads.
Yep. He's rich. He had a servant that appeared out of nowhere. All of a sudden, he had fucking dope ass threads.
Should we? Whoa.
Yep.
Should we pick a card?
I mean, I feel like we should. I've seen nothing but good things happen.
Wait, what do you mean this sword gave you a headache, Grog?
Well, I don't know. So, like, it was a magic sword, right? And I was going to be able to throw it, and it would, like, fight without me. Like, it would just fight things that I told it to.
Was it evil?
No! I tried talking to it, and it didn't say anything.
Okay, 'cause
Yep.
that's
We have a history.
red flag.
I know. I have a history of, you know.
So it didn't talk back to you.
Nope.
It fought on its own.
Yep.
A guy that you met, you made him just rich and amazing.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's like a deck of fortunate things.
A deck of fortune?
I think so. I mean, I haven't really looked at it too closely. Do you want to look at it with your knowledge?
I mean, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll look at. I don't know if I have the knowledge, but I'll look at it.
You and the guard kind of comes up real fast, gets your attention, and goes, Miss, do you require assistance?
Just walk us into town. That would be great. Just in case if there's any,
Very well.
thing that might jump out and get us.
Very well. And the 3 guards that were at the front kind of shut up. The carriage! And Johan goes, "Oh yes, well, it's now under the watch of one Pike Trickfoot.
So just put it wherever the royal horses go.
Oh God.
Oh no.
Wow.
Oh, I don't like them at all.
Hard peach
The
dragon.
sack for Baggins is just rolled up.
Yeah. Let me just, you know what? Guards, can you take them to the Slayer's cake? And, I will be right there. I will be right there.
Of course, you're a busy woman. Don't worry about it.
I have some things to
Astra
tend
kinda,
to.
like, brush her hair a bit, and
once they-
besides, I can have a guard escort me any day. And the guard's like, just grabs her arm and starts walking along with her. You can already tell she's a bubbly flirt.
Kima flies down and lands on Pike's shoulder.
Hey! Oh, okay, so you just saw that? I think, so my family's here, the family that I haven't really seen since I was a kid. And they're we have the last name Trickfoot for a reason. I'm gonna get on the earring and say, whoever is available, I would love to maybe have you come to the Slayer's cake. Some of my family is here. And hold on, just watch your pockets, watch your stuff. Just keep an eye on your things. And just come, please come.
We've got you, darling. I go ahead and bamf out of my B shape.
Whoa! What? I sent money. I didn't tell them where I was.
You sent money?
I did. I just didn't know. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have done it.
No. I mean,
I
that's
just wanted to make sure
admirable.
that they were okay, and I didn't know they're. Maybe that wasn't a good idea.
No, I mean, I know you've told us very vague amounts about your family. So
I know because they're.
It was just, it was surprising. We haven't talked about them too much. Just like that they're like a little shady.
I left when I was very young, so a lot of them I don't really know. I don't know. Okay.
I just we love you.
Okay.
And family or not, if anyone tries to fucking use you, we will.
Thank you. Okay, I don't think it'll come to that.
All right.
But
I just don't want anyone taking advantage of you. You
right.
know?
No,
you're having
I
this
don't think
conversation.
that'll happen.
Watch a Goliath. Just go. Sorry.
Okay. That's fine. I'm sorry I didn't spend more time with you. But this is unacceptable. This is not how you treat family. And if anything, I hope you learn from this. What do you want? What do you want from me? Tell me and I'll give it to you.
I don't care about the money. That's what they wanted. Honestly, I just use this as an excuse to get to see you again. It would have been fine. If no one had found out anything, we would have been heroes. We would have had a reason to be friends again. We would have saved you, as far as you know, from a terrible curse. And maybe that would have... Maybe then I would have been a hero to you. But I'm nothing. I'm a caretaker to a swindler, and move around too much to make any real friends, so that's just my lot in life, I guess.
It doesn't have to be.
That's all I know.
But you're very smart. I
Not
think
smart
there's more for you in this life than you know.
You can see now she's just tears now at this point.
I'm gonna walk over to Johan and Astra.
Okay. Yeah, they've let the invisibility down at this point, and they're both just like entangled, like. Oh, there's some sort of misunderstanding here. We were under the impression that there was a terrible curse. No, we look. Okay, like we have been following. We have been following that man because he is. Well, he's my dad, and we're really broke, and we blew through all the money you sent us very quickly. I mean, come on, how much you guys got? Like 10,000 gold? That's more than we'll see in our lifetime. Right? Drop in the bucket. Changed our life. You would have been fine. You would have been great. You would have known any better. Our lives would have improved drastically. We got our own way. Maybe we stayed for a week. We made you dinner. But here we are. Are we bad? Are we evil? I don't think so. But that's up to you, Miss Priest. This way Asher's like, shh, honey. Just calm down. He's like, no, okay? She can think she's better than us. That's fine. You want to fight the Trickfoot name? That's great.
And I go,
You're still a trick.
down.
He hits the ground, and you only hear his muffled, but you're still one of us. And then Asher goes, you did kind of drop a mace on my toe.
Oh, I know. That was on purpose.
Yeah, I gathered as much.
Ah. Ooh, I'm so mad!
Yeah.
Don't rush it.
Yeah. Where's Ogden?
You wait another few minutes. It's a long flight up at this point without the haste.
Feet, yeah.
I mean, the winds do help a little bit because a lot of the winds hitting the cliff and heading upwards. The updraft does help a bit, but it takes about 5 or 6 minutes or so for him to eventually get his way back up to the top. Probably longer than that, even. Then eventually you watch as Vax returns, then drops an unconscious, unmoving Ogden onto the rocky cliffside floor.
Poor bugger looks so sweet when he's sleeping.
Does he still have the diamond with him?
Funny thing, when that orb disappeared and he fell, so did him and the diamond.
Windmill.
So he is not with the diamond. The diamond is nowhere to be seen.
That'll make someone's day, eventually.
It was more the principle of the matter.
Well, I'm sad.
Pike. If you send them on their way, think about JB. That's all I ask.
Okay. Ogden,
He's unconscious.
you're not listening to me because you're unconscious?
Don't one of you people have the touch.
I'm gonna go over and backhand his face.
Okay.
I like it.
No, I've. His glasses are gone. His eyes, that were once beady, are now wide. He's like, oh, hi, Pike.
Hi.
Hello.
Listen.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. So this wrecked me. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna send you guys on your way. I'm gonna take out my purse of money. I'm giving you all my money. Stop, don't say anything. I want you, and I want Astra, and I want Johan to leave, and I never want to see you again. JB is going to stay here with me.
He glances over JB, who's like right now, like just head is down. It's just looking at the ground. Like you can see a little bit of moonlight that's coming by. You can see the kind of the wet streaks in her cheeks. And he goes, that's very fair. That's very kind and very fair.
We are going to teach her things. I will put her through school. And her and I together will change the Trickfoot name. But if I ever see any of you again, I will fucking kill you all.
As you should.
Wait,
Oh, yeah.
wait.
Sorry. Yes.
Pike?
I would like to cast Earthquake.
Okay.
Maybe I can wiggle it all closed.
Okay.
Wiggle the
Shake 'em out.
tunnels.
Okay. So you cast Earthquake. What's the casting time on that?
It's just one action.
Okay, so you look there and focus for a second, close your eyes, and you guys watch as the edges of the sinkhole kind of begin to shift. The single tower that was partially collapsed collapses into full bits of rock and rubble, and some of it spills further into the tunnel as the tunnel begins to cave in.
Shit!
Basically, you fill in the rest of the sinkhole, and the mine now drops about 25, 30 feet as the rest of the earth comes and fills it in. Eventually, the rumbling slows and comes to a calm, and you see now there's a dip where the space in the forest was. It's like a big bowl, and some of the trees kind of fall into it, and get buried in the earth and stone as it collapses inward.
I don't think might not need that.
I love
And it's still.
I love that everybody was up here bickering and Pike just went,
I had some poop.
Yeah, get it done.
A few moments pass, and you watch as some of the onkegs begin to like pop out, like the collapsed tunnels have forced them to kind of begin burrow their way to the surface to orient themselves. You watch as about 5, 10, 20 or so of these begin to emerge, and as they emerge, they kind of look around the space, and you watch them kind of looking at each other and sniffing the area.
I'm gonna firestorm them.
Oh shit.
You're gonna firestorm! Yes!
Just let Pike off the high leash.
Oh,
So
by the way, I can create a Holocaust. Is that what you're doing?
Pike can end this world in a holocaust. All right, so as everyone's kind of marveling over your earthquake, little Pike goes, and also, and you watch as about 30 or so of these creatures have now emerged, and they're all kind of communicating with each other, and their antennas are going by, and they're beginning to look around, and this streak, this zigzag of burning flame just tears across the base of this bowl and just incinerates about 20 of them. You now see them immediately smoldering, turning to ash, these blackened kind of clusters of heavily charred husk, and the others that got to the surface just scatter into the forest. You get the sense that the ruin you've left, the collapsing of the tunnels, and the rather large portion of their populace that you've left destroyed, there's probably not much of an infestation left here in the mines.
Too bad, best case.
There's one thing in particular that's always bothered me.
What?
You said that you were kept alive by some weird fucking magic. And that's what I do. And I brought you back so you could be with your daughter. So fuck you. In the bakery while you were gone. We have these, they're called shorties, they're after you. So, hopefully you like them.
Much like you, a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
I'll try. Well, does it have any
cookies?
Do it. I love you all.
We do it above the screaming Halloween Horror Nights sound
Full
effects.
silence. All right. As you guys clasp hands and begin the intricate incantation for the earthquake spell, you can hear the cheers of people on the rooftops. They're standing up now, and they're all shouting, "Yes, yes, I hear you." You get the sense that perhaps you aren't the only ones that have been spoken to, although the conversations may differ from individual to individual. As you guys complete your incantation, you watch as the dust begins to rise around the base And you see Entropis begin to quiver back and forth. And you watch as everyone begins to rush to the edges of the rooftops, then rush into the streets to look up, their hands raised to the sky, not sure what this means, but basking in whatever glory this next sign or omen is to be. You watch as a loud, shattering crack sound hits, and you watch as one large, snaking, carving line begins to work its way up one side of the tower. Up another. And the collective gasp of hundreds of voices across the city seem to echo. You watch as one side buckles, and the tower begins to slowly to the ground.
Well, I'm back here, and this is just so beautiful. I'm sure you've seen and have seen what's happened where we were, and I know the last time we talked, you warned me and told me that you wouldn't be there. But I think we're past the point of being able to do this on our own, just our mortal selves, and we need bigger help. Might I ask for your please help us. I don't know what else to say. This is beyond us now.
As the words leave your mouth, yourself prostrate before the temple that you helped build with your own hands, you open your eyes, but you see not the temple before you. You see instead around you essences of a vision that have been blurred at the edges, but now come clear. You see around you sandy shores, pearlescent almost, white sand that glitters in your presence, just at the peripheral. Glass, gems, diamonds, you can't tell, but the light that hits it seems to just sparkle and give off this light. You hear water around you rushing up and pulling back from the shore. You see statues, so many statues before you in what appears to be a glass fortress, a spire that rises up crystalline, translucent, but seeming to glow with the flicker of an internal flame's heartbeat. And as you look up at the top of the temple, you see the wings unfurl and drift towards you. And you see coming towards you the physical form of the Everlight herself. Her darkened skin, her beautiful smile, her light hair leaving a trail of flame and golden sunlight behind as she comes forth and drifts right before you and says, "Then the time is right for us to meet. Come. Come and join me on the island of renewal, within the blessed fields of Elysium. Here, where you can speak."
I just immediately take a knee. Thank you for letting me come here, just to see you, and we will come to you.
Her hands reach out and clasp yours, and the warmth of her touch it's hot. You feel like it's borderline burning, but it doesn't hurt. You instinctually, that animalistic essence of primal life tells you to pull back, but you don't, and it's just a comforting heat. Like holding a cup of fresh, hot tea. And she seems to almost lift you off the feet up to her, and her size, which was so vast and immense, seems to come to meet yours one-on-one. She goes, then come. You have the tools. You have the means. I await. And as she lets go, you look down in your hand and you see what appears to be a small little piece of curved metal made of a bright, polished platinum, like a U. And as you look up to her again, you're just staring at the statue. And you're staring around the temple. And you look down at your hand, but the item remains. She looks down at Pike once more. My Pike, you've done more than you know. You've been a guiding light for these wonderful champions, and so many more. She reaches down and lifts you off the ground a bit, looking at your face, the bit of sadness that creeps across it as she lifts you up, and you guys watch as she glides, passing through the crystal, Pike just being brought below the archway as she kind of just lifts her out beyond this crystal structure. She ascends upward about 25, 30 feet or so, just holding Pike in her hands out in front of her. And just chucks her. No. Holding her close, and by this point, Sarenrae's form has expanded to almost the size of the crystal structure you came to. You can now see a parallel between her wings and her form and her torso as to the actual incredible presence of this god before you. And leans in as she shows the island to Pike below and whispers close to your ear. I am not lonely here, Pike, for my sands remain with me. Speak with me, and we learn from each other. Look. As she extends her arm, Pike, you look out, and all of the light of the sky seems to shine at once through every pearl, every grain of the beach sand that you've walked across. And where once you saw was just a barren landscape, you now see thousands and thousands and thousands of people, opaque, translucent, souls of those that have come to Sarenrae since the dawn of creation. Those who swore themselves to good under her banner, and at the end of their lives came to become part of the Island of Renewal and forever live with her and amongst the rest of the community of people that are warmed under her light. They all seem to look up once at you, and you sense them smiling as the vision fades and the island goes back untouched. She drifts back down and places you on the ground. You see, one day you will join us too, and we will all have so many stories to share. You now see her hovering over all of you as you step out of this to join Pike on the exterior of this tower. While I am diminished, my power is limited. You do possibly face something terrible, unseen since the calamity. And for this journey, Pike, I grant you my blessing. And as she reaches her hands out and they expand, her head lifts up, her eyes close, and her wings flare into a phoenix-like flame that just emblazons the sky with light and fire. The heat is more intense than anything you've felt, yet still there's no pain. It's just all-consuming. It's like the rebirth of a phoenix. And you're all surrounded by it. For a moment, it's all there is in existence, just this incredible entity. And then the flames slowly die away, except for the flames that currently engulf Pike's gnome form. And as the flames burn away, you can see on Pike the familiar set of wings you've seen her spiritual form hold, which fold in and then dissipate. You now have the blessing of the Everlight, Pike.
I could send a message.
To Garmili?
How do you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I could use sending.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And we could write a little something and say hello.
Oh, will you write it down?
Entice him back to
You
us?
don't just say it. You have to write it down.
You don't have to write
Well,
it
I
down.
have it, but let's look at this.
Yeah, you
Just
be like,
let me know.
you just spray it with perfume.
You decide the phrase.
Oh, you just say something.
Kiss on it.
Is in dire threat, and
You
that
also
threat
might
may
like a
eventually
naughty doodle.
Yeah, draw a little naughty doodle.
Yeah, he loves.
send him a
He
dick
likes
butt.
Do a naughty doodle. Okay.
Yeah,
Sure, I'll allow it.
for a good time. Cool Pike
Actually, will you draw something and show it to us on the
Naughty
camera?
Oh my god, please.
Okay. I can't draw.
I'm so excited.
Well, this just made everything worthwhile right here.
The New York Yankees? That's terrible.
We all wait
Oh
patiently.
god, this is already going bad.
You
Is
did
it
perfectly.
boobies? Is it penis?
I think it's a bad.
Travis, are you gonna be reading that weapon for like the next week, aren't you?
It's
that's
a
a lot.
novel. So big.
Is this thing gonna kill you? Can you read it? Can you read
Not
it?
on. I mean, like that's the rest of the show if he reads it. Like that's.
Yeah.
Can it actually kill Vecna, even though Vecna said, like, it won't do us any good?
It's gonna put me a lot closer to doing that.
Yeah.
To killing Vecna? Because Vecna was all like, oh, you can't beat me.
Vecna is not really that invested in
The
telling
only
us
weapon
the
that
truth.
does as much shit as this does is like the closest thing to it is your staff, your vestige. This thing is
Just does everything?
bonkers.
Let me see it!
Does it say it's legendary?
Okay, what did you draw? What did you draw, Pike?
I can't draw, and everybody, if only one of the amazing artists were here.
To draw.
So, okay, it's a penis.
Come see us
For a good time.
I'm
circled. This is Vox Machina, by the way.
Look at his mouth.
It looks like a condomed penis.
Snap a photo, Ashley.
It's not too bad. As you suddenly hear a voice behind you, Vex, and you turn and look, and Otagon's right there behind you.
And it's time for mass heal, which is 700 hit points.
What?
Yeah.
That is.
Oh, that divvies
spread
out.
Yeah, to everybody.
So.
Vecna is
Oh.
going to use his reaction.
Dick. No.
Blowing a. Let's see.
Such a dick move. More like dick move.
He's used all of his legendary
counter
actions.
spell.
He has one
He
last
does.
legendary. What's the
I
legendary?
didn't even get the
resistance.
letters
His
right.
actions are done.
All right. And so.
It doesn't have a legendary action yet, does it?
Yeah. So what's the spell level on that?
No, they're gone for this round.
9.
Oh, shit.
9th level spell. All right. So it's a DC of 19. He has to roll its ability check using your spellcasting ability, which is 10. So
I can't counterspell his
She has
counterspell.
disadvantage on.
you're too far away from him.
But I'm not too far away from her, but that's not how it works.
No, it's him.
Okay.
He has disadvantage on it because he's currently under hex.
That's true.
Oh, that could be
does.
So 17, natural 17 plus
Okay.
10, 27.
That's not good.
Nope.
Come on, 1. Come on, 1.
7 plus 10. That's 17.
Oh.
It's a 9th level spell. You need to roll a 19 or higher, so he fails.
Hex
Well,
wins again.
that was your hex was gone.
No, it was your
It's
hex.
my hex.
And you can't. You said intelligence on that one too.
Pardon me?
Yeah.
And she hexed.
Yeah.
Intelligence.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's
I
her
figured we've gone that one.
Okay.
So you call hex. Sure.
Ah.
All right. So
double hex.
Question. I'm
Yes,
probably
yes.
out of range. Am I in or out of range by his face? Probably just out.
you're because you attacked physically, melee up. You're up in his face.
No, but I mean,
you're
you're
within
close to
range of
Pike.
Pike, yeah.
Am I 60 feet? That's. I don't think so, but.
Yeah, I'll say so. I'll say
Yeah?
so.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Pike, divvy it up.
Okay, so Zara and Kashaw, I love you both.
We don't need any, darling. We're fine.
Okay, so I'm gonna give all of us get 100 apiece.
Whoa! Yes!
Good for you guys.
And that does go back to my
You get 100 and you get 100.
Wait, Pike, I don't need that much. I only need like
Does she get to choose? who
20.
gets what?
She gets
I only
to-
need
she
like
gets to
I only
choose.
She
need
gets to divvy
18
up the hit
points.
points amongst whoever she wants.
Vax is doing real well. The temporary hit points don't come back, right?
No.
Right. Yeah, Vax is doing real well. I'll take a skosh. A peppering?
Just a skosh?
Yeah.
I need 20 hit points.
And I only need 66, so
20 for
I needed a full
Vax as
100.
well.
What about you?
I
Did you?
need more than 100.
And you need more than 100.
Yeah, but it's
Sam.
to the twins.
Split up.
But she has plenty left over. Percy and Sam need more than 100.
How does this work,
Okay,
Matt?
great.
Does she know all this inherently?
You can see how
only
fucked
need
up we are.
102.
Right.
So good. You have enough for everybody to
enough
get
for everyone.
back
It's
to
a backup
max.
call.
We're back.
So that's the thing. Everybody's back at max.
Monster.
None of the
Holy
temporary hit points, but your regular max.
You-
But
well, you
plus
had- you
the
had a
2
plus
for
2, so you're actually
the feast.
yeah.
So
Right?
So we're at 190. Yeah, you're
Let's
your
go
max
back
plus
to
2.
And
That's your
Vecna is
normal
also
one,
back
that's
to
not
full.
It goes back to my
She said everybody.
Everybody. I know.
She's really nice. That's fine. Same place tomorrow?
Yeah.
Be back, same
Yeah,
time.
fine. All right. So everybody is at full hit points.
Oh my god.
What a fucking
He looks
boss.
so high.
Oh, fucking boss.
Love your healers, folks.
I need all that we've been through. I was wondering if I could ask you a question. I have a proposal for you, if you don't mind. Well, now that everything's sort of safe again and back to normal, I was wondering if I could take you on a date. Just like to a restaurant or something. Then maybe if it goes well, we could go on another date. And that's it.
Well, I actually was going to ask you the same thing.
So Wilhand spends his twilight years helping with small tasks around the emerging House of the Everlight, as it is built on the northern edge of Western, before age finally takes him in peace amongst friends and family. The red brick house you grew up in, and Grog grew along with you for a while, is left in your name. And there you know you have ever a homestead in Western in memory of Wilhand and the friendships you forged. What else would you like to do? What else do you wish to achieve, Pike, as the years go on? That can pertain to you and whatever relationship with Scanlan you wish to embellish on.
Should we roll for dating?
I'm sure there's a chart somewhere. in
Well, I
second
know
edition.
for one, I think, I don't know what Grog's plans are, but I do know that if there were any adventuring to be had, that her and Grog still got to go on some adventures together.
Yeah.
And that he always has a place in my home. And I know I would love to, I'm sure at this point, fully rebuilt the temple and Solheim and I think things have gone well with Scanlan.
Oh. Like,
Oh man, I'm getting so emotional.
like second base well, or even better than that?
Well, I think if we've spent enough time together, maybe, I don't know. Should we see what else maybe life has for us together?
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to mean anything more. I know your life, what you'd like to do, and I'll give you freedom.
No, I think the most free I've ever been is with you.
I think there's no one I would rather spend the rest of my days with. Besides my pal Grog. You know,
Maybe
you get a 2-for-1 deal.
Sure. Be a weird family dynamic.
Can you guys keep it quiet up there, please?
Weird roommates. Giant lower floor, tiny upper floor.
1 inch above your head.
I think at some point I ask Scanlan for his hand in marriage.
I mean, I would have to go ask Wilhand for his permission.
He passed
Well-
away.
Well, then I would go leave some flowers at the grave.
You can ask me.
Oh, I will ask Grog for permission. Grog, as the father figure in our weird household, I would like to ask for your permission to wed your not daughter, Pike, who is much smarter and older than you.
You're a scoundrel. Do you have any money?
I have this little black rock that you gave me.
That's worth literally nothing. How about you give her this, and I take out the rare black sapphire and put it in your hand.
That's pretty good.
I'm fucking watching you. You understand?
I won't hurt her. I
Did you
promise.
slip up?
Nope. I know you can kill me in my sleep.
I know. I usually put dead people in the bag of holding, but there's always a first. Treat her right.
Will you walk me down the aisle? And by walk me down the aisle, I mean carry me down the aisle. All right, let's have a group weird hug.
Aw. All right. Anything else, Pike? Pretty happy with that?
Do I have to
Yeah.
convert, Pike?
What's that?
Do I have to convert? I'm an Ionian.
No.
Okay, good.
No.
You're Ionish.
Sarenrae is a very accepting god.
Multi-faith ceremony. There you go. There you go.